How's it going today, guys? Today we're going to talk about dividing mixed numbers. It's something that's pretty difficult because it involves multiple steps. So we're going to go over those today using a couple problems. The first problem is one I've put down here. It was from the Abracadabra homework the other night, and it was for the number k on that one. So the problem was 2 2/3 divided by 1 3/5. So before we get started with dividing, I want you to pause the video and try this for yourself. Okay, so just pause the video, give it a go, see what you get, and then start it back up again. Alright, hopefully you paused the video, gave it a shot, tried as best as you could, and we're going to go over it. Okay, so the first thing we actually have to do when dividing mixed numbers like this is we have to turn them into improper fractions, which means 2 2/3 we just want to be a fraction, so just in terms of thirds. So how many thirds are in 2? So let's see if I can maybe draw a quick diagram down here. So 1, 2, and 2/3. Okay, so I've got 1 whole, 2 wholes, and 2/3. Okay, well, if I'm just turning it into thirds and I want to say, okay, so that is equal to how many thirds? I would say, okay, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8/3. Okay, there's a couple tricks to get this answer a little faster because you probably don't want to draw it out each time. Some people say, okay, well, if there's 3/3, right, 1, 2, 3/3 in each hole, well, then you know 2 holes is 1, 2, 3/3, 4, 5, 6/3. So you could probably put together, well, 3 times 2, 6/3, plus the 2 more thirds is 8/3. So some people just go 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8/3. Then 1 3/5, maybe I'll draw that one down here. 1 whole, right, 1 whole, and 3/5. I don't know if I'm going to fit in the camera, maybe I'll slide up. And 3/5, so just 3. So this time a whole is in fifths. We want to think, okay, 1 whole and 3/5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/5, and 1, 2, 3. So if I want to turn 1 3/5 into just in terms of just fifths, and I'd say, well, 5/5 and 3/5 is 8/5. Okay, and once again, you could use just 5 times 1 is 5 plus 3 is 8. If you understand this concept, if you understand the drawings, that's a shorter way. So I always recommend writing down the equation. Again, don't try to do our algorithm of keep, change, flip in your head and rewrite everything down. Don't skip anything. So I would go back and I'd say, okay, our first number, 8/3. 8/3 divided by 8/5. Then I would write it all over again. I'd say, okay, well, our algorithm is keep, change, flip. So we keep this first number, keep, that stays 8/3. We've learned this in class, so if you don't understand why keep, change, flip, maybe I'll make a video another time, but today we're just operating on the understanding of what we've talked about in class. Change, so we change the multiplication or division to multiplication, and then flip. So keep, change, flip. So we flip this and we've called it the reciprocal. So right, the reciprocal is when you kind of flip. So 5 ends up on top. 8 ends up on the bottom. So we've done keep, change, flip, and then when we multiply fractions, we go right across. So then we get our answer of 8 times 5 is 40. Okay. And then 3 times 8 is 24. And we'd simplify, so we'd find our common factor. And what can divide both of these? Well, 8 can divide both. So I'd say, okay, well, end up with This divided by 8 is 5. 24 divided by 8 is 3. Then I would turn my improper fraction answer into a mixed number, and I would get, okay, 1 whole and 2 thirds. Okay, I do want to point out, if you're a cross simplifier, right, if you are doing the cross simplification, you get 8 thirds times 5/8, and if you're thinking about cross simplifying, you can say, okay, 8 and 8, those have a factor in common, and it happens to be 8 in this case, so you'd go 8 goes into 8 once, so cross out, go 8 goes into 8 once, 8 goes into 8 once again, go 1 times 5 is 5, and 3 times 1 is 3. Okay, so that's just a faster way to get the same answer, but you don't have to cross simplify. I think it makes things easier if you can memorize that or remember that rule, but if not, no worries. And that would be that answer. Okay, 1 2/3. I hope this helps explain the steps. You can see the first step is converting. So I'll do this. The first step is over here. Step number 1 is turning your mixed numbers into improper fractions. And then the second step would be solving using our keep, change, flip algorithm, right? So those are the 2 steps. You can't solve your dividing mixed numbers just by, using the distributive property or something. There's nothing, you don't want to get too crazy into that. You want to improper fractions first, keep, change, flip. All right.